every city, the parks are maintained, the streets are plowed, fresh water runs from the taps, and wastewater is collected and treated. Now, as a city employee, our goal is to maintain a high quality of life for our community. Hi, I'm David Jones. I'm the utility superintendent for our city. Most of the time, our citizens are pleased with the services my department provides. But there's one experience that can be extremely unpleasant for both the property owner and our organization. That experience is a sanitary sewer overflow, or SSO. Now, an SSO is the accidental release of raw sewage from the municipal sewer system that backs up into basements or overflows out of manholes and potentially contaminates streams or lakes. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates between 23,000 and 75,000 sanitary sewer overflows occur each year. Now, these estimates don't include the thousands of additional backups that occur into homes and commercial buildings. SSOs can be caused by a number of factors, including blockages from grease, misuse of the system, infiltration or inflow from groundwater runoff, pipe breaks due to tree roots, cracks or system deterioration, power or equipment failures, insufficient system capacity due to residential or commercial growth, improper design, installation, or maintenance of the system, construction mishaps, or other problems. Now, the objective of this video and the accompanying resources is to help your entity establish, implement, and manage a sanitary sewer overflow prevention program and an overflow emergency response plan. We'll also offer tips on how to prevent sanitary sewer overflows and list ways to minimize property damage when they do occur. This video and accompanying resources have been designed to assist you in managing sanitary sewer overflows. Well, let's begin by discussing some basic parts of a sanitary sewer and a few liability issues that pertain to sanitary sewer overflows. Now, there are two parts of a sewer system. The first is the sewer main line, and the second is the property owner's service lateral. The property owner's service lateral runs from the residential or commercial property to the point where it connects to the sewer main line. Most entities consider the sewer main line their responsibility, while the service lateral is the property owner's responsibility. However, check with your local municipality for their specific breakdown of city versus property owner responsibility. Now, in Colorado, the Governmental Immunity Act specifies that a public entity may be liable for damages resulting from a dangerous condition of a public sanitation facility, or the operation and maintenance of a public sanitation facility. However, the law also establishes limitations on that potential liability. First, there's no liability unless the property owner proves that the sanitary sewer overflow resulted from the public entity's negligence in operating or maintaining the public sewer system. Now, the fact that a backup occurs doesn't mean the entity is automatically liable. Rather, negligence must be proven, and backups can occur through no fault of the public entity. Second, public entities generally have governmental immunity when it comes to the design of a public facility, including a sanitary sewer system. Third, public entities don't have a legal duty under the Governmental Immunity Act to upgrade, modernize, modify, or improve the design or construction of the sewer system. And fourth, the Governmental Immunity Act provides your entity with other limitations on liability, such as a dollar cap on the damages that must be paid on a claim. All of these provisions reduce potential liabilities, but keep in mind, your entity can be liable for dangerous conditions and negligent operation and maintenance of its public sewer system. Also, the governmental immunity laws will not protect the entity from regulatory actions by state or federal agencies that oversee the operations of public sewer systems, or any fines or penalties that such agencies may impose. Now, regardless of how you may be protected from liability, you also need to consider how an overflow will affect your relationship with your citizens. If an SSO occurs because of a blockage in a citizen's service lateral, your entity may elect to provide assistance in the cleanup process, even though you may not be legally liable. Your assistance may pay huge public relations dividends in the long run. To reduce the frequency and severity of a sanitation sewer overflow, minimize inconvenience to citizens, and effectively control your entity's liability exposure, your entity needs to implement a comprehensive sanitary sewer overflow prevention and maintenance program. The first component of your program should be to develop and enforce a sewer use ordinance. The ordinance should spell out which party is responsible for what part of the sewer system, requirements for connecting to the system, and improper or prohibited use of the system. The ordinance should also address proper design and installation of new service laterals, mains, and other components of your system. Other policies and procedures should be developed that describe how the system is to be inspected and maintained. Second, your SSO prevention program should address community planning and future growth. When new industrial or residential developments are proposed, studies should be conducted to determine the impact on your existing system and how this growth will be funded. The third component of your program should be regular communication with property owners and citizens. Information to be communicated should include, number one, that the care and maintenance of their service lateral is the property owner's responsibility. Two, what items should not be disposed of in the sewer system, along with suggestions on how these items can be properly disposed. Three, encouraging property owners to call in any problems they may notice with their sewer. And four, what action should be taken in the event of a sewer overflow, regardless of the cause. This ongoing communication may be accomplished through social media, flyers, newsletters, educational meetings, and community outreach events, websites, and other communication avenues. Sample resources are available from CIRSA. The fourth component of your SSO prevention program is scheduled inspections and maintenance. Documented inspections of the entire sewer main system should be performed on a regular basis. Now, the frequency of these inspections will depend on a variety of factors, but should be in the range of every 12 to 36 months for the entire system. More frequent inspections should be completed in known problem areas. Some of the more modern and well-designed systems may be able to get by with less frequent inspections. The factors to consider for your schedule include the age of the system, areas of higher usage such as business and restaurant districts, recent changes made to the system, and historical problems. Regular maintenance schedules should also be developed and followed for the periodic servicing of the entire sewer main system and lift stations. Most organizations can't realistically inspect every connection point, nor the entire system annually. However, the maintenance schedule should ensure that a reasonable percentage of the system is inspected each year, and the full system inspected within 36 months. Detailed inspection and maintenance records should be kept on file for at least 3 years. To review, the key components of your sanitary sewer overflow prevention program should include, number one, the development and enforcement of a sewer use ordinance, as well as other desired policies and procedures. 2, community planning and growth projections. 3, ongoing communication with citizens through multiple avenues. And 4, following regular inspections and maintenance schedules. In the long run, the cost of implementing your prevention program will be far less expensive than paying for problems after they occur. Now, your entity likely has a policy on what to say and how to say it, and even what not to say. Regardless, when dealing with a property owner or resident, your personnel should be trained to be polite, sympathetic, and objective. No admission or denial of responsibility or liability for the overflow should be given. Your town's risk manager, safety coordinator, insurance company, attorney, or another designated representative will handle those communications. Let's now discuss inspections in more detail. The actual methods used will vary depending on the specific equipment and resources available to your entity. The most common type of inspection is performed visually. You simply lift the manhole cover, look down the hole, and inspect the flow. Your first observation will be the amount of water flow. If the volume's too low when compared to other readings in the system or previous inspections, you may have a blockage upstream. If the volume's too high, you may have an inflow, infiltration, or other problem. The contents of the flow are also important to monitor and track. If the water is dirty or sandy, you may have a break in the line. Milky colored water may be a sign of concrete erosion. Small root fibers are an indication of roots growing into the sewer line. Grease buildup around the flow line may also indicate a problem. You may also notice signs of previous backups. For example, toilet paper or other debris could be stuck in areas of the manhole or at elevations that may be an indication of a previous backup or a higher than desired flow. Another method used to inspect your sewer system is to monitor flow rates from one lift station to another. By tracking trends and peak periods, you can react to potential problems in the system by monitoring low or high flows. All automated processes such as flow monitors and lift stations should be appropriately alarmed to contact an automated response center, an on-call person, or a staffed location in the event of a power outage or equipment failure. One of the most effective forms of inspection is using a video inspection system. A small camera is fed into the sewer line to visually inspect the inside of the line. This procedure is often done in conjunction with sewer line cleaning. Dye and smoke testing are other inspection methods that can be utilized. Whatever inspection methods used, you should follow specific procedures and thoroughly document the date, time, location, and personnel that perform the inspection. Conditions found both unacceptable and acceptable, recommended actions to be taken to address unacceptable conditions, and any other information deemed necessary should also be documented. Maintenance of your sewer system should also follow specific procedures and be thoroughly documented. Standard cleaning methods may include using a sewer ball, cable rodding, or a hydro jet wash system. To fight root problems, a root saw is often used. Newer cleaning equipment may also be used, but no matter what equipment you use, make sure you follow proper safety procedures. Some entities allow the use of root killers, caustic soda, or other chemicals to dissolve roots and other obstructions. Another method is to use grease-eating microorganisms that eliminate grease buildups in sewer mains and lift stations. And make sure that any and all chemicals used are in accordance with EPA, OSHA, and local government regulations, and proper safety procedures are followed. All personnel performing sewer system inspections or maintenance should be thoroughly trained in the proper procedures and use of equipment that will be used. A system operator must oversee and be responsible for all inspection and maintenance procedures. All personnel should also receive training on the personal protective equipment, or PPE, they'll be using. Your entity should provide the PPE needed for the identified hazards and train each worker in the proper inspection, cleaning, and use of the PPE. Inspecting and maintaining sewer systems can expose your personnel to certain risks. The safety hazards you may encounter include insect and rodent bites, material handling, pathogens, traffic control, high noise levels, and falls. Sewer maintenance equipment has its own hazards. These can include pinch points, sharp edges, and high pressure water, as well as chemical and electrical hazards. If inspections or maintenance include working in a confined space, all personnel must be properly trained. Training must cover preparing the confined space entry permit, proper use of equipment needed to enter and exit the space, monitoring air quality, and safely working in the environment. Additional safety hazards found in confined spaces may include drowning, entrapment, lack of adequate oxygen, explosive gases, or mechanical equipment. At all times, you must be prepared for an emergency rescue from the confined space. Rescue exercises and retrieval drills with your emergency response team should be conducted periodically. Now, as we know from experience, even the best loss prevention plans can't cover every contingency. So at all times, you must be ready to implement your overflow emergency response plan. Now, the plan should help you quickly respond to an SSO, correct the problem in a timely manner, and address potential health and safety exposures to the property owners and your employees. Early intervention is crucial to reducing property damage and minimizing environmental contamination. Now, as your employees arrive at the site, they must quickly assess the severity of the problem and work immediately to minimize the impact of the SSO. Now, if necessary, they must create a bypass into another manhole to keep the sewage flow from entering storm drains or contaminating surface water. In Colorado, any release of sewage which flows into surface water, groundwater, dry gullies, or storm sewers leading to surface water must be reported to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. A sanitary sewer overflow in a home or business can be a very sudden, unpleasant, and disturbing experience. As discussed earlier, when dealing with a property owner or resident, your personnel should be trained to be polite, sympathetic, and objective. As we were trained, no admission or denial of responsibility or liability for the overflow should be given until a thorough investigation of the problem has taken place. If you suspect misuse of the sewer system, you should contact the property owner in accordance with your entity's policy or sewer ordinance. Communicate to the owner specifically and politely explain to the owner what items should not be disposed of in the sewer system, and that problems created in the sewer main due to inappropriate use could be their responsibility.
What have you done? There is shit on the ceiling in my bathroom. How am I supposed to clean this?
Ma'am,
what have
that's
you
just
done?
something that happens. I don't know what to tell you.
No, it doesn't just happen.
Yeah,
Not in my house.
I suggest you get your cleaning gloves and a ladder. What? I don't know what to tell you. We got a lot of line to clean.
That's not acceptable. You can't tell me that. You guys caused this.
Our problem is the line. Your house is your problem. I don't know what to tell you.
So what just happened? My bathroom just blew up.
Ma'am, we're out here cleaning the main sewer line.
And that caused that?
Yes, sometimes that does. It depending on how your sewer was ran into our main line. Sometimes that happens. We apologize.
Are you guys going to do anything about it?
You can call a professional cleaning crew and we give you a red card and the city will reimburse you for that if it is bad enough that a cleaning crew has to come out.
Can I have some warning next time you're going to do this?
Yes, ma'am. Well, next time what we could do is put a bubble on your house and then we will know to pull your clean out cap. That way that pressure won't blow your house up.
If you determine the blockage is located in the service lateral, notify the property owner of your entity's sewer ordinance or other policies regarding the clearing of blockages in service laterals. Documenting the incident is crucial, and it's recommended to use an incident response form. This form should be used to track the initial notification, the planned response, inspection findings, and any discussions with the property owner. It's also important to document the corrective actions taken to address the overflow. When the crew responds to the home, the property owner or resident should be instructed to protect their property from any further contamination. Warn them not to come in contact with the overflow and to keep all children and pets out of the area. If necessary, electrical power should be shut off to the overflow area to reduce the potential for electrical shock. The crew should then follow standard procedures to clear the blockage or correct the problem that's causing the overflow. The common procedure is to first clean the main sewer line around the affected home or business. Make sure your actions don't cause additional overflows or other problems downstream. Once the overflow has been minimized or controlled, your personnel should conduct an after-action review of the incident. Documentation is again key, but focus should be on preventative measures. This is a good time to recognize or evaluate any potential system misuse, identify any remaining property damage, take water samples if needed, etc. Also, personnel should critique their response to the overflow to determine what actions worked well and what needs to be improved. Your team should review your policies and procedures, communication, crew training, and the equipment used. You should also examine past inspection and maintenance documentation to determine if more frequent servicing is needed in the area. Your entity should report the incident to your insurance provider as soon as possible. A thorough investigation must be performed to determine the cause of the overflow and to prevent a recurrence in the future. We covered a lot of steps in this last segment, so let's review the main steps in your overflow emergency response plan. 1. Get as much information as you can from the caller, and don't admit fault or liability. 2. Respond immediately to the site to minimize the impact of the SSO. 3. Inspect and clear the blockage or correct the problem. 4. Notify the appropriate authorities if required. 5. Discuss cleanup options and responsibilities with the home or business owner. 6. Perform an after-action review of the incident. 7. Report the problem to your insurance provider if required. And 8. Complete an investigation. And be sure to follow all safety and health precautions. Sanitary sewer overflows will continue to be one of the most unpleasant experiences anyone can have. And because the operation, inspection, and maintenance of the sewer system is your entity's responsibility, property owners and residents will turn to you for help when an SSO occurs. But by implementing your sanitary sewer overflow prevention program and following your overflow emergency response plan, you should be able to minimize the frequency and severity of SSOs, reduce property damage, minimize health and safety exposures, and maintain good public relations. Good luck.
So this isn't your problem, it's mine?
Go ahead and hold.
Say to that.
Sorry, Corey.
About what to flush, what not to flush. So
Trace it back to me.
we can, yeah.
Okay.
We sure can.
So you saw the nachos I had 2 nights ago?
Leakage is one of the most unpleasant experiences anyone can have. And because the operation, inspection, and maintenance of the sewer system is your entity's responsibility, property owners and residents will turn to you for help when an SSO occurs.